When you look at the Ravens' current roster moves, it's impossible not to focus on the implications of signing Mark Andrews for the long term. On the surface, some might think this is simply a win for Baltimore, but the deeper conversation revolves around the ripple effects for players like Isaiah Likely is 25 years old, still with plenty of upside, yet he came off a down year that, while disappointing, doesn't erase the flashes of talent we've seen from him. Even with a fumble in his best performance of the season, it's clear that injuries and the challenges of playing with backup quarterbacks like Cooper Rush and Tyler Huntley impacted his overall output. The Ravens are likely weighing all of these factors in determining his future on the team. One potential option is the franchise tag, which would guarantee a one-year contract of $15.8 million, giving Baltimore some flexibility while keeping the player for another season. Yet, the bigger story seems to be about financial priorities and roster strategy. There's a strong sense that the Ravens attempted to negotiate an extension with Likely, but the numbers he was seeking may have been beyond what the team was willing to commit to. Comparatively, locking in Mark Andrews at a slightly lower cost gives the Ravens a chance to manage their salary cap more effectively while securing a proven star at the tight end position. When you consider the combined costs of paying the top-tier tight ends, the numbers quickly add up. Likely's franchise tag would average around $15 million per year, while Andrews' contract, possibly in combination with another player like Cole, presents a similar overall investment, but one that the front office seems more comfortable committing to long-term. This creates a challenging scenario for Likely, who now has to consider whether he wants to remain with a team where he might not be the number one tight end, or explore opportunities elsewhere where he can have a starring role. Meanwhile, the team is navigating its health in preparation for the upcoming matchup against the Steelers. Lamar Jackson's presence at practice on Wednesday was a reassuring sign, as it signals the quarterback is taking steps toward regaining rhythm and continuity with his teammates. Several key players returned to the field, including Nate Wiggins, Darius Washington, and Davius Robinson, while Rashad Bateman and T.Z. Walker were full participants. Lamar Jackson, Tavius, Ardarius, and Nate participated on a limited basis, which is a positive indicator for Baltimore's depth as they approach a pivotal game. The Ravens' health status is crucial, especially given the significance of the upcoming matchup in a division that has been surprisingly underwhelming this season. Both Baltimore and Pittsburgh sit at 6-6, tied at the top of the AFC North, which has historically been one of the league's toughest divisions. This year, however, the division has been lackluster, with no team having achieved a 7-win record through 13 weeks, creating a situation where the division winner could potentially have a losing record. That scenario is rare, and it adds extra weight to every game from here on out. The Steelers present a unique challenge for Baltimore. Pittsburgh's off-season strategy focused heavily on bolstering their defense to handle teams with dominant rushing attacks like the Ravens. They drafted Derek Harmon in the first round, added Ya Black in the 5th round, and brought in veteran Dana Aquali, creating additional depth along the defensive line. They also signed linebacker Malik Harrison to help combat the run. Unfortunately for the Steelers, injuries and suspensions have limited the availability of these key acquisitions, meaning that the defense Baltimore faces may not be fully optimized as the team had hoped. This adds an intriguing dynamic because the Ravens must adjust their offensive approach based on who is actually on the field. The Steelers have been a team of extremes this season, capable of both dominant performances and complete lapses, which means that consistency will be critical in the coming matchup. For Baltimore, the challenge has been their own offensive struggles, particularly on the line. Lamar Jackson has been forced to compensate for a struggling offensive front, often having to make plays under pressure. This season has been physically demanding for him, with ankle, knee, toe, and hamstring issues causing setbacks and influencing his decision-making and mobility on the field. Despite his abilities, no quarterback can consistently overcome a line that fails to protect him or open running lanes. For the backfield, the Ravens' offensive line rotations, including the use of rookies and adjustments around returning players like Ronnie Stanley, highlight the team's attempts to manage injuries and workload. However, the inconsistencies remain, and the lack of reliable protection has contributed to a stagnant defense, especially in the red zone, where their conversion rate has fallen significantly compared to last season. Turnovers and poor execution have further complicated matters, but the talent is there, And when the team finds its rhythm, they can be formidable. For the Ravens, the key will be balancing these offensive challenges while capitalizing on defensive strengths too. Control the pace of the game against the Steelers. Both teams possess the potential to dominate, yet have shown vulnerability, making this matchup a crucial measuring stick for the remainder of the season. As the Ravens navigate their roster decisions, health updates, and game strategy, fans can expect an intense clash where every possession carries weight, particularly in a division that has seen more surprises than expected. This week's matchup is shaping up as a critical point in the season, where momentum, execution, and strategy could define the trajectory for both teams heading into the final stretch. As we continue breaking down the Ravens and Steelers matchup, it's impossible to ignore the broader implications for both teams as they approach the final stretch of the season. The Ravens, despite their struggles, still have some of the league's most dynamic playmakers. Led by Lamar Jackson, however, his performance over the past few games has been far from what fans have come to expect. No touchdowns in his last 3 games marks the worst 3-game stretch of his career. A combination of offensive line struggles, injuries, and inconsistent support from his teammates, the offensive line, in particular, has been the Achilles heel of Baltimore's offense, with guards and tackles failing to consistently protect Jackson or create running lanes. Injuries to key linemen, a lack of depth, and constant rotation have forced the quarterback to constantly adjust, often making him appear hesitant or off rhythm, something rarely seen from a player of his caliber. Despite these challenges, Lamar Jackson has shown resilience, occasionally finding space and creating plays from nothing. But the ceiling of such improvisation is limited when the front line cannot hold up. Defensively, the Ravens have fared better, but the team still faces questions about consistency. The upcoming game against Pittsburgh is a clash between a Ravens offense looking to regain confidence and a Steelers defense that has faced its own setbacks. Pittsburgh's defensive struggles this season have been noticeable, particularly against the run. Injuries to key players like Derek Harmon and the absence of Dana Aquali due to suspension have undermined the depth the team hoped would strengthen their line, leaving gaps that a dynamic quarterback like Jackson can exploit if given even a small window. The Steelers' ability to generate pressure and contain Baltimore's top players will be decisive in determining the outcome. On the other side of the ball, Pittsburgh's offense has been uneven, capable of explosive games but equally vulnerable to stalling under pressure. The team's inconsistency has left questions about whether they can seize control against the Ravens' defense that, when firing on all cylinders, can neutralize both the run and the pass. For Baltimore, establishing a balanced offensive attack will be key, using their running backs effectively, rotating personnel strategically, and protecting Jackson will create opportunities for the passing game and allow the team to dictate tempo. The red zone, where Baltimore has struggled this season, will be particularly critical, as converting possessions into points has become a recurring problem. Each missed opportunity not only affects the scoreboard but also impacts momentum and confidence. Heading into the second half of the season, roster decisions continue to play a significant role in shaping these outcomes. The choice to prioritize Mark Andrews over Isaiah likely reflects a calculated risk by Baltimore's front office. Andrews brings proven production and stability, but it also signals that likely may need to find a team where he can take on a more prominent role if the Ravens' franchise tag or future contracts don't align with his career goals. For fans, this creates an interesting dynamic, as the success of the tight end position can directly influence the quarterback's ability to execute and the offense's overall efficiency. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's defensive challenges and depth concerns make this matchup even more intriguing, as it pits experience against potential and strategy against execution. Looking deeper at the Steelers' defensive adjustments, it's clear they have invested in depth and versatility, but injuries and suspensions have limited the impact of these moves. The team's performance has been a roller coaster, with moments of dominance followed by surprising lapses, limiting elite running backs, forcing turnovers, and controlling the line of scrimmage are the benchmarks by which Pittsburgh hopes to measure success. Yet they have struggled to maintain these standards consistently. Baltimore's offensive line issues, coupled with Jackson's injuries and ongoing adjustments, create a complex chess match where both sides are forced to adapt in real time. Every decision on blocking schemes, snap counts, and personnel rotations could swing momentum, highlighting the importance of preparation and execution for the coaching staff and players alike. In addition to the tactical considerations, Both teams must manage the psychological aspects of the game, momentum swings, confidence in key players, and handling pressure in critical moments can define a season, especially in a division as tight as the AFC North. With both Baltimore and Pittsburgh sitting at 6-6, every possession carries heightened importance, as a single win or loss could dramatically affect playoff positioning and seeding. The Ravens' resilience, combined with their playmakers' talent, gives them an edge in explosive potential, while the Steelers' defensive adjustments and experience create opportunities to capitalize on mistakes. How each team navigates these challenges will likely determine not only this game's outcome, but also the narrative of their season as they head toward the final weeks. The matchup is further complicated by each team's recent performance trends. Baltimore has struggled to maintain consistency, with offensive outbursts followed by games of limited production, turnovers, red zone inefficiency, and injuries have hampered their ability to sustain drives and score effectively. On the other hand, Pittsburgh has shown flashes of dominance but has been equally prone to defensive lapses, particularly against mobile quarterbacks or versatile running backs. The combination of physicality, strategy, and execution will be critical, as neither team can rely solely on talent without proper cohesion and game management. Adjustments at the line of scrimmage, exploiting mismatches, and timing personnel rotations will all play a pivotal role in determining which team can control the tempo and seize the advantage in this crucial rivalry game. Ultimately, this matchup represents more than just a regular season game. It's a test of resilience, strategy, and adaptability for both teams. Baltimore's offensive struggles, coupled with Lamar Jackson's health concerns, place an emphasis on smart decision-making and maximizing opportunities. Pittsburgh's defensive adjustments, while limited by injuries, offer a chance to disrupt Baltimore's rhythm and exploit weaknesses. Every play, from the opening kickoff to the final whistle, carries amplified significance, not only in the context of the season, but also in shaping the narrative of the AFC North. The outcome will likely influence future roster moves, player confidence, and coaching strategies, making this game a true measuring stick for both franchises as they enter the decisive final stretch of the year. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In what is quickly becoming the talk of the league, whispers are spreading that the Baltimore Ravens may have just acquired a game-changing weapon that could shake up the playoff picture entirely. Sources close to the team hint at a move so bold that it has analysts and fans alike scrambling to rethink the entire postseason race. While the details are scarce and nothing has been officially confirmed, the buzz centers around a player whose potential has been on the radar for months. Someone capable of transforming the Ravens' offensive dynamic overnight. Insiders suggest that the team has been quietly negotiating behind the scenes, and the rumors point to a signing that could redefine the quarterback situation. The name Jordan Love keeps surfacing in conversations, fueling speculation that Baltimore is ready to take a calculated risk that could pay off in a big way. Love, known for his strong arm and ability to extend plays, would instantly provide a new dimension to a Ravens offense that has shown flashes of brilliance but has struggled with consistency. If the whispers prove true, his presence alone could alter defensive schemes across the league, forcing opponents to rethink game plans and matchups. The reaction from the fanbase has been electric. Social media platforms are buzzing with excitement and disbelief, with supporters debating how this move could shift the balance of power in the AFC. Some argue that Love's addition gives the Ravens a legitimate shot at controlling the pace of the game, while others caution that integrating a new quarterback mid-season is never straightforward. Still, the potential upside is undeniable, and the rumor mill shows no signs of slowing down, while coaches and executives remain tight-lipped. The mere suggestion that Baltimore may have landed a talent of this caliber has sparked an intense wave of chatter. Analysts are already projecting scenarios where this acquisition catapults the Ravens into serious playoff contention, with the added intrigue of whether Love can mesh with the team's current roster. Whatever the truth turns out to be, one thing is certain: the Ravens camp has become the hottest spot for speculation in the league, and the coming weeks promise a roller coaster of expectations, debates, and possibly one of the most surprising playoff pushes we've seen in years. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.